I just realized that I didn't finish the story. We stood in line for 20 minutes, freezing. Outside working on his Christmas display window, and I thought I would try to sweeten him up a little bit with some hot cocoa out of one of my newly thrifted crazy Santa mugs. He's left-handed, so he doesn't have to drink off the square side. He said it was very good. I make it from melting chocolate chips.
A little cold outside working in the garage too. But
yeah, it's cold.
I think you're going to like the display window I'm working on.
Yeah, it's going to be cute, I think.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yep, thank you.
I'm going to finish this off while it's still hot.
I'm trying to sweeten him up so he'll go get me some takeout dinner. Oh.
Okay, I'll get over there in 15 minutes, beat the crowd.
Yep. Thanks, honey.
Bye, thank you.
Hi, welcome back, friends. Thanks for being here today. I'm a little slow at getting our Décor Christmas videos out. We hope that you will enjoy the fun new things that we found. We can't resist some of the really great buys in the thrift stores and even the antique malls. There's some really, really great antique shops that we are fortunate to shop at in Minnesota and in Wisconsin. So it's really hard to leave these sweet vintage items behind when we know that they're from the 80s and older. I know it's very hard to find 60s, 50s items these days, but once in a while I do. I'm very thrilled when I find them. Sometimes I have to fix things up, so it does slow me up when I go and buy things, and then I've got to dig out my paint and try to fix them up a little bit because I'm anxious to show them to you. Like this little deer here, I decided to paint the antlers and the hooves gold and the nose red. I will tell you about that special deer in a little bit. This huge, crazy drip glaze vase was something that I twisted Norm's arm for from our nearby Antique Mall of Rogers. It was a pretty good deal. I think it was 30 something, but Barb, the owner, is always so sweet and she does give us a discount, so I think it's worth it. It's just crazy, I know, really, really weird. I think it's the first one we've ever had that's had all of these crazy openings. We do have a fancier one that is California original with lots of gold on it, but it doesn't have that many sections. It only has 3. So it's a lot smaller vase than this one, but I couldn't wait to show it to you. I know the orange may seem a little crazy for Christmas, but the deer have some rust antlers, and you know, there's just enough to blend with that crazy orange with the browns in the deers. So I thought that would go okay, and I was, like I said, I was anxious to show it to you. Then we decided to do something a little different. Instead of using vintage garland that was greenery or the white ones that have little instruments hanging from them, I'm sure you've seen them, or they might have little lanterns, things like that. We have a couple of those, so we've used them for quite a few years. I wanted something different, and there was such great sales. I'm sure you've been aware that Michael's and Hobby Lobby, they mark stuff down as much as 70% off. So I was running around trying to find what I wanted, which was candy looking. These may not be quite as candy looking, but it goes well. These are actually a polyester material, so they won't break and they'll be easy to store. So I just wanted a little more fun look out here. Last year I did a lot of beautiful ceramic vintage deer planters that we have. So this year I thought it would be fun, since we've been adding to these crazy Kimple deer that are all done by hobbyists. I only have 2 pairs. This green one was my very first deer, along with its friend over there. I did separate them because they really stand out, so I didn't want to have 2 green ones on one side. But they are made very, very nicely. I just replaced the bows on them because the bows were orangey. I wanted something a little closer to red, so I've had those for a couple years now. So that's what got me hooked. You probably remember seeing them in my very first video with these very, very fun deer. So we've added so many. I'm up to 10 now. For a while there, I had 8 little reindeer, which is just right, but that's missing Rudolph, because 8 reindeer is not with Rudolph pulling at the beginning of Santa's sleigh. So this one, I think, was one of the newer ones added. And there's another one over there somewhere that's, I don't know, maybe it was this one, because I don't think I had one lying down last year. But a couple of them we found just, a week ago at Wild Vintage Collective. So I couldn't resist adopting them. I hope you think they're fun. I just added a little bit of greenery just to see if that would help, and I couldn't resist adding the 2 crazy deer candles that are Robert Allen, and I've always had them with all my Santa candles. This year I put all of our Santa candles in the living room on the mantle, just to try to mix things up a little bit. I did not use them last year, so I did want to use them this year, but I thought, well, maybe we can get by trying them in the living room. So I didn't end up with as much room as I have out here, so there are less of them showing in there. So I want to tell you about this sweet deer. This was one of the wonderful gifts from Donna Rainwater, who I told you in a couple other videos for Halloween, all the sweet little Halloween things that her sister-in-law did. And this deer was one of them. It didn't have a bow on it, and the antlers were brown, and the hooves were black. So this afternoon, because I didn't really have very many nice bows that were Christmassy like those, I didn't have any plaid ones, but I did have this pretty gold bow. So that kind of gave me the idea to make this deer very special and turn it into Rudolph, because it's the only one with a red nose now. All the other deer have black noses except the green pair. So I decided to paint the hooves gold too. And I actually even rubbed a little bit of the leftover dried paint on my brush on its cheeks. So I hope you don't think I made him too girly, but that's okay. And when Donna sent it to me, there was actually a teddy bear made the same way, not with the flowered holly pattern on it. Neither one had a pattern done on them, calico looking. The little teddy bear, I don't know where I put it. I know it's around the house, but I kind of ran out of time. But that was really sweet that she asked me if I wanted the deer and the teddy bear too. I said, sure, that's really sweet. So thank you again, Donna. That is just so kind of you to mail so many really, really neat hobbyist items done by your sister-in-law. I think it was Marla, right? Isn't that sweet? It's just so cute to have one that's sleeping like that. I didn't even know that that particular mold existed, but I do have one in the tiny deer. Now, these I've just thrifted too. I happen to find 2 of them. You would not believe how many votives I have thrifted this year. I cannot believe I found so many. I'm just hooked on them, as I mentioned. So I did find a second one. And a lot of them were from the Shalom thrift store in Cambridge, Minnesota, where we did show you in a video recently. Such cheap prices. They were 50 cents average. Yeah, I just really love them. I think they really add a fun effect to your holiday decor. So this one is a pair over here. This is the second pair. And I can't remember where I found them, but it's surprising. I may have found those even at the Goodwill. Or it could have been the Pink Squirrel monthly sale. Today is actually the first day of the December sale, but we didn't go. We went in November. So I've had this for a couple of years. It is an older plaque. It's very easy to move around. I've got actually 3 nail holes up here. So luckily I can find things in our collections to fit on some of the nails. But let's go back here. Sorry about my floor creaking as usual. Let's go back over here and show you what we just found last week. I couldn't believe my eyes. We had gone thrifting again up north, and on the way there, it dawned on me that it was Wednesday, last Wednesday, because today is Wednesday. Last Wednesday, there is another monthly sale that opens at 3 p.m. and it was around 12:30 or so when we were on our way up north. And I said, Norm, the Picket Fence Gals sale was going to open in Lindstrom, Minnesota, where we were passing through at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday through the weekend. And we have not gone for months. So I pulled up their video for the sale. They had an hour-long plus video going from room to room. It's a little old 2-story house. So it's very, very fun to go through it, but it's often very, very crowded. It's a really popular place. So I'm looking at the video, and I didn't get but 10 minutes into the video, and they walked into their back door, and she just turned, and there was this poinsettia on the table right by the door. I gasped, and Norm looked at me, what's the matter? I said, you won't believe what's sitting right inside their back door. And he did say, well, we'll go to a couple of the thrift stores and then we'll get back there by 3 o'clock. So he had already committed to going there. just wanted to show you that I did find some things to hang up on the nails. As you recall, this is where my 2 big gold fish plaques were that were from my brother. So you probably were wondering, as I was wondering, what am I going to put there for Christmas? Well, I did manage to find some things. So I just stuck a little bit in there, the clock, that worked. And I had a nice, perfectly positioned nail up there for that little vintage wreath. So when the time came, it is very hard to find parking. It is such a popular thing to go to, and you can imagine how popular this sale would be at Christmas time. So we got there just a little bit early, and I kind of saw people walking off the porch and everything, and I thought, did they open already? It was like 20 minutes before they're supposed to open. And so Norm let me out, and he went and found a parking place. And I went up and looked at the door, the back door, and saw the poinsettia sitting there. And then he came up after parking, and I said, it's not open yet. So we stood out in the cold. We were first in line at the front door. We didn't know if they let you in the back door, actually. This was an idea I had yesterday to take these 3 thrifted window stained glass look, they're plastic of course, items that we just thrifted this, maybe late November and early this month. You saw that in the video, you saw me thrift that, but you did not see me thrift these 2. From a brand new little store we found in Cambridge next to Shalom thrift store. We did not know there was a newly located store that used to be located somewhere else. And it was called Cool Junk. So we looked it up and we thought, oh, it says vintage, retro, cool stuff. So we went in there and purchased a few fun things. I found Christmas items, but these were, I believe they were $1 each. I can't remember for sure, but they're pretty cool, and I didn't know where I was going to put them because they are quite different. So today, Norm was helping me get those up there with a tiny nail at the top. Yep, he was very helpful, and he really liked the idea. Thank goodness I didn't drive him crazy. So I'm happy that he likes that. The middle one was from Family Pathways in Lindstrom, Minnesota, and you did see me show a lot of things from that store in a video. Thank you so much for watching our videos. That is the funnest bell door hanging that I thrifted a couple years ago. This is newly thrifted. I am trying to remember. That was from the Pink Squirrel in November. Yep. And I found so many fun Christmas things there. So I will see if I can dig up the price for you. Very little. I was very happy that the little pine piece is not part of it. It just does have a red ring at the top of it. So I was happy to get that. I was thrifting a lot of plastic canvas items this year because I love them. I just think they're so sweet. And now over here is something that Norm found irresistible. He often would wander up to the wonderful Mall of Rogers, Antique Mall of Rogers. It's only 5 miles up the highway, so he will sometimes be running errands around outside, and he just gets the bug. I think he's worse than me. You may think I'm the one that's always wanting to go thrifting or antiquing. He likes to go to antique stores more, but when it comes to Christmas, most everything that I get is from thrift stores. I just know that there's an abundance of things out there, and I have a lot of fun finding all these little miniature things for the shadow boxes. So I'm usually asking him to stop at the Goodwill when we drive by it, but he's always willing to let me do that. But he saw this, you know, I can't even remember the name of these. We've never had one. This is really beautifully done. It's just amazing. Just to show you, here's number 1 door. And I did put some candy bars in there. It's really deep. You could put a lot of things in there. There's a couple of little Snickers bars in there. And number 2, boy, they're hard to find. Oh, okay, here's number 2. Yeah, it's funny. I can't tell you the name of this. Oh, a box of dots. Must be leftover Halloween candy. But yeah, there, wow, 24 is way up there. So, Barb again gave Norm a discount. It is beautifully made. And he really wasn't sure where to put it when he bought it. That's what happens. But I was very sweet, and I said, well, I suppose I can take down the wreath or whatever it was that I had up here, and it might hang just right on the nail that we have there that we've used for a planter, a hanging planter thing that I have that's got a metal ring. I've had that there before. I've had pictures like the Halloween picture. So we lucked out. It really lines up nice. We're very fortunate that it fit well. So, yeah, it's pretty hard to get around on that side, but the roof, lots of snow on the roof. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of these. Norm would know. But my mom never had one, so I'm just not used to that. Isn't that cute? All the handles are just something really cool. Bells, wreaths, wow, it's just an amazing piece. Doesn't, you know, look used at all. Just was really clean. So, I like it. I never thought I would, but that's a perfect spot for it. Well, this year I've got a lot of elf things going on here. A lot of elves and trees, but I did manage to find a sweet spot front and center for one of our bigger nativities. Very cute. We've had quite a few of these in many different sizes, but this was one of the bigger ones. These bigger ones I've had for many years, and I had shown them to you. I've thrifted all of them, and then I found a set of 3 little tiny children. So I put one over here in between 2 older elves, and 2 of them on this side with 1 elf, older elf. And you've seen my biggest ones that are chalkware that I really do like, that they have a little animal with them. So the other ones on the other side, found those quite a few years ago, and she reduced the price at the time. It was a good, very, very good price compared to what they are now. It was only in the teens that I paid for the 3 of them. And I've had this little elf too that I thrifted, so I figured I'd just put her with him. And I've always been looking for small, glitzy little trees over the years, I found quite a few. The red ones are Avon bottles. And I just found this year the gold one. Very unusual. I love it when they have a star on top. The middle one is glass. I have shown that. That's acrylic. The dark green one, I really like that. And this was a new thrifted ornament. And, oh yeah, this is new too. This was also from Cool Stuff. The name of the new store that we found next to Shalom thrift store. Yeah, so I bought that from them too. And way up here, you've seen these before. I just put a couple of my angels that don't have a second one to match them. I thrifted them so many years ago. Yeah, so I hope you like how that turned out. It's very red and green, very colorful. Some yellow there with the one elf, but I like how it turned out. I'm just trying to change things around. I know I'm going to be showing you some duplicates because I still want to hang on to a lot of the items that I've thrifted. They're just getting older. I don't really want to give them up yet, but I can't help adding. So every year I think we got to add 1 or 2 more Christmas bins. Crazy. But I do try to give up some things. I just realized that I didn't finish the story. We stood in line for 20 minutes, freezing, but we were the first ones in line. And when they opened the door, Norm just directly went all the way to the back of the store, to the back door. And the ladies sit right there where the checkout is. So there was at least 4 women that work there that were already ready for people to start a bin. They give you a number on a clothespin, I think, something like that. You start a little bin. So they were there, and they saw Norm come around the corner and me following him. He goes right up to the poinsettia, picks it up, and shows it to me and says, "What do you think?" We looked it over and we thought, it's a go. It's a little bit different. You can tell. There just can be a slight difference in color in the red. But it looks in very, very good shape. And it actually has a hook eye plastic on the back to hang it up, whereas mine doesn't. So I had to kind of stick mine on the nail gingerly and hope it stays up there. Yeah, so that was really nice that it actually is made for hanging. So that was a wonderful deal. What was the price? Oh, I don't know. I better put the price down at the bottom. It was really a deal, I think. Maybe $20. I don't know. I think it might have been like $20. We thought that was a steal, knowing how popular these lucite flowers are, especially the Christmas ones. So we were lucky, right? Yeah, very lucky. That was sweet. What a nice surprise.
Coming up on Christmas 2023, and Peggy's outdone herself this time, as she always does.
Oh, I don't know. We'll let our viewers decide that. I'm glad you like it, though.
No, it looks great.